So, you know that old adage that a good villain doesn't know they're the villain? Well, evidently, nobody told Kuja that, because not only is he fully aware he's the villain, but he is a really good one. And not only that, but he is having the time of his life in that role. Kuja is a genome, basically an artificial human, and he was created by Garland. No, not that Garland. No, that's Garlon, spelled with an O. I'm talking about a different Garland. Why are there so many Garlands in this series? There we go, that's the one. Now, Garland here is an inhabitant of the dying world of Terra, and he created Kuja as a means of accomplishing his plan to assimilate the world of Gaia and keep his own world alive. Now, the specifics of that plan are a little too complicated for me to get into here, but to make a long story short, it involves sending an angel of death, Kuja in this case, to Gaia in order to cause a bunch of chaos and destruction and disrupt the life cycle. Here's the thing, though. Kuja was never meant to be permanent. Garland considered Kuja to be a flawed prototype at best, so he designed him to expire once his newer, better counterpart, Zidane, was finished. Once Kuja realized that he was literally on borrowed time, he set out to try and attain a power strong enough to defeat Garland and keep his soul, all the while still fulfilling his duties as an angel of death with relish. I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. My favorite Final Fantasy villains are the ones who have a flair for the theatric, and Kuja is no exception. Like I mentioned before, he is fully aware that he's the villain, and he is loving every second of it, gleefully indulging in every villainous cliche in the book, all from the comfort of his swanky, evil hideout. He carries himself like he's the villain of a Shakespearean epic. Upon seeing him for the first time, your first thought is probably something to the effect of, wait, that's a guy? Now, sorta like Seymour, a lot of Kuja's intimidation is sort of undercut by his design. I mean, just look at him! The man's wearing a thong! And pointy goblin shoes! But the thing that sets him apart from Seymour is the fact that his design perfectly fits his character. Kuja is incredibly flamboyant and individualistic, so it makes sense that he'd purposely want to stand out as much as possible. Something else Kuja's got going for him is his intelligence. Now, he's not really a typical mastermind per se, in that he's not really one to play the long game, but instead, he's really good at adapting to whatever circumstances he has to go through. Every time something doesn't go his way, he finds a way to adapt. A bunch of his mass-produced black mages become self-aware and go against their programming. He tricks them into thinking he can fix their limited lifespans and gets them to follow him willingly. Garland finds out about his intentions and destroys the creature he was planning to use against him. No biggie, he can find another one. The heroes rescue his hostages and escape. He'll just capture one of the rescuers while they're on their way out. He is always and consistently one step ahead of the game. That is, until the game's grand finale. Towards the end of the game, he finds out that no matter what he does in spite of defeating Garland, he's going to die prematurely regardless. Now, one thing I neglected to mention about Kuja is he is a massive narcissist. He has an incredibly high opinion of himself and sees everyone else as less valuable than him. And once he finds out that he's going to die, he can't swallow the idea that the world is going to go on without him, so he goes full nihilist, deciding that if he can't enjoy life, then no one else should be able to either. So Kuja achieves a new form that allows him to destroy entire worlds, and an awesome fight ensues. Actually, on my most recent playthrough, I was amused to realize that the fight against Kuja basically boiled down to him letting the party beat the crap out of him until he got his limit break. That is actually kinda hilarious. He uses his new trance state to fight the party, but unfortunately, it's followed by a battle against the embodiment of death itself, which, while thematically satisfying for Final Fantasy IX, comes right the heck out of nowhere with zero build-up and steals Kuja's thunder. This isn't really all bad, however. After all, this results in Kuja being the only main villain in the entire series to actually redeem himself, sacrificing himself to save the party after their literal brush with death. So while he may not be much to look at first, Kuja really makes a good impression as a villain with a combination of his sympathetic origins and devious personality, easily earning himself a spot in the upper echelon of Final Fantasy baddies.